What an unbelievable start for Nolan the Lightning McQueen. It's a sequel from the last start. He is just an utter dominant pitcher, and some things that can't go said enough, Mets fans, is the way he throws all of his pitches for strikes. The two-seamer, the Vulcan change, the curveball, the crazy sweeper, the slider with the downward tilt, kept hitters guessing all night long as our boy Nolan McLean goes 8 innings pitched, 0 runs, 6 Ks, and only allowing 4 hits. And let's be honest, a lot of mediocre contact when it came to McLean, something this fan base has been starving for. Another ace, and dare I say, like a Jacob deGrom. And I compared him to one pitcher that I've seen a million times throughout my career, especially when he was on the Braves. Think about Greg Maddux and that two-seamer he used to throw. He threw it a couple of times to lefties tonight. On that inside corner, it starts in the batter's box and leaks back over the middle. It is utter dominance. And that's what made me so excited to have him come up as a New York Met. It's not just the high velocity, the crazy 3,000 plus RPM on his breaking pitches makes it where he's almost unhittable. That downward tilt, it's just a thing of beauty. And then we got to turn around and give credit to the New York Mets offense, who puts up a 3 spot in the 3rd inning, tacks on a run in the 5th, and then 2 more in the 7th as they blow out the Phillies for the freaking sweep. I will say this. There's a psychological edge that our New York Mets have right now, and it's undeniable at home. The crowd was roaring. Shout out to my boy James from Mets Coverage over on Instagram, was there live at the game, sending me videos saying this place is deafening, and I only expect it to continue as tomorrow night the New York Mets throw Clay Holmes, and then we have the man, the myth, the legend. I will be there Friday night for Jonah Tung's Major League debut. It is a great, great time to be a Mets fan right now. Let's go through what our boys did. Another player who needs to play every single day, and Dan and I were discussing it in a space not too long ago, Brett Baty, 2 for 4 again today with a run scored, makes that great diving stop at the end of the game. Couldn't get Turner, but it's clear as day he needs to play every single day. And something that I mentioned, this lineup we saw tonight, I got a feeling if we're in the wild card in a 3-game series, McNeil will be playing center, because at the end of the day, Mendoza wants Marte in the lineup, and you could play Brett Baty at 2nd or at 3rd. It also gets you Mark Vientos in the lineup. We do give up a little bit defensively. There's no doubt the jumping catch that Jeff McNeil made in the game would probably be a can of corn for a Tyron Taylor or Cedric Mullins, but there's no denying, Dan, this offense is red freaking hot, and you pair it with hopefully the likes of a solid start again. I'll take what Clay Holmes has been giving us over time tomorrow, and then Jonah Tung on Friday. We have a recipe for success here. And the good old saying, Terry Collins said it once, if you don't hit, you sit. David Stern says it the opposite. If you don't pitch, you sit. And now if McLean keeps doing what he's doing, we'll see what Tung does. But if he is serviceable, Stanga and Minaya better watch their backs, because they could easily be losing their spots in the rotation. Dan.
What a game, Ray. What a game for the New York Mets. This is unbelievable. Much needed, right? You finally have a pitcher that can go deep into games, a pitcher you feel comfortable about. I mean, rev up those engines, because Lightning McLean is here, and it's great to see. This was unbelievable. His performance was masterful. The pitches moving all over the place. I get it. People on X, I might have jumped the gun, touched the money a little bit, thought there was a complete game shutout in the bag. But hey, he went 8 scoreless innings against the Philadelphia Phillies. I was about to go and get my broom for this live, because you got to need it for a night like this. The Mets sweep the Phillies. Wow.
I got you covered, Dan. Swipe that red ass out of here.
Wow. I mean, it's just unbelievable. We'll get into the nitty gritty over this live, but wow, I'm blown away, as many of us are tonight.
I'm watching these highlights right now, Dan. Literally every strikeout is something different. To the lefties, low and in, the changeup away, the fastball high to righties, that sweeping breaker as they give us the breakdown right here. I kind of just went over it. 8 innings, 4 hits, 0 runs, 0 earned runs. How about this? When's the last time we saw a rookie come up 8 innings pitched in, 0 walks? Something that has haunted this team for months now. 0 walks, 95 pitches, so economical. This kid's got 3 starts and an 0.89 ERA. And we're not talking, this is not the Washington Nationals, the Miami Marlins. This is not them. This is the Philadelphia Phillies, the supposed gauntlet team that was going to kick our ass this week, and we took care of business. And I'm here to say it, Dan. By the end of this season, if it's not happened already, because that's how sports move, we have a new ace of this rotation, right?
Taking care of business.
Right now, he is starting game 2 behind David Peterson. If the playoffs started tomorrow, I am throwing Nolan McLean game 2, point blank and simple. It is about what you've done for me lately. And I've seen enough of Sanga and I've seen enough of Manaea. Now they could change that. They're going to have 3, maybe 4 starts left to make that change. But if it doesn't happen, these kids are here, and I expect Brandon Sproat to be the call up as of September 1st. I expect him to be up here. And let's be honest, even though the Mets threw him in the bullpen, I am not totally sold that if push comes to shove, we may not see him starting games. You hear about these guys having injuries, feeling things left and right, and another pitcher that is about ready to come up and come off the IL, Tyler McGill. I expect them to throw him in this bullpen. I expect Stanek to be gone, and I expect Reed Garrett to be optioned eventually. But tonight, Dan, tonight is single-handedly about Nolan Lightning McQueen, number 26, the new ace of the New York Mets.
Yeah, I think Michael Jackson said it best, right? Man in the mirror, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. And I think the Mets, this whole rotation is on notice. I mean, all of these pitchers have been shown up in 3 games by a rookie. Think about that. I mean, it's unbelievable to just take a step back, and the things we were complaining about just feels like yesterday, but it was really months ago and 4 months. You know, we need starters to go deep. We need guys to go 6 innings and then 7, and Peterson was the only one that was doing it. Well, now Nolan McLean has done it, and he's done it effectively and efficiently, and he's just unbelievable. It's a breath of fresh air. The rest of the rotation, again, they're on notice. I mean, this is really a wake-up call for David Stearns in a good way, because he now can trust, hopefully, his development, and hope maybe Jonah Tong can continue that on Friday as well. But this offseason, there's going to be a lot of serious conversations to be had if these downward trends continue for some of these guys. The Mets could go far in the playoffs, but if it's another NLCS exit, I'm going to have those conversations like, Sean Manaea, do you need surgery on that elbow to get you to be where we need you to be? I mean, these are conversations that I'm not willing to have right now, but I'm just emotionally and over the moon. This is an unbelievable game. Nolan McLean, holy cow.
Yep. Really quickly, guys, if you could do us the favor, smash that like button if you are with us enjoying this content. You don't realize how much it helps the show. After the show is over, if you want to be guaranteed to get your comments read, as we have over 200 comments already in the comments section, you want to be guaranteed to be heard, consider becoming a member. For just $2 a month, gets you live access, gets you access to our guests, some guests, new guests, we're going to be having on shortly. Been talking with a couple people, a lot of exciting things happening over at the platform. And I noticed StreamYard notified me Facebook is having their internal issues right now with the stream. So if you're on Facebook and want to be a part of the stream, head on over to YouTube. Dan, let's do a quick roll call when it comes to this lineup tonight. Francisco Lindor, everybody was worried last night. The 0 for 2 for 4, the RBI. He gets, the stolen base. Juan Soto, 1 for 4 with a stolen base, RBI, the clutch hit by Juan Soto. For me, Dan, he's still pulling just a little too much. I want to see him consistently go the opposite way, something that we haven't seen him do enough, in my opinion. And then let's keep it going. Pete Alonso, 1 for 3 with the RBI. Brandon Nimmo, 3 for 4. Something every single game. One of the guys in the lineup has 3 hits, and Mark Vientos goes 2 for 4. 3 RBIs, the big home run to put the dagger in the Phillies. And then it's funny because we've been talking about how the bottom of the lineup's been carrying everybody. Hayden Sanger, 1 for 3. Brett Beatty, 2 for 4. But you have Marte and McNeil that both have offers, but it doesn't matter because the majority of the lineup every night is hitting. And we spoke about it yesterday. Taijuan Walker is not the pitcher that he used to be. The Mets needed to take care of business against a guy with a 4+ ERA. And that's something that we typically don't do. And this next series, we're going to be facing some great pitchers. So we're going to need our lineup to step up again. Something we did yesterday to Luzardo. Luzardo threw nearly 30 pitches in the first inning. The Mets were battling, fouling off a million pitches, and the same thing happened today. How many 3-2 counts did Taijuan Walker have today, Dan? It affected him. It affected the Phillies bullpen. And let's just hope this changes things going forward.
Yeah, it was nice to beat up on a former Met. That's for sure. That always feels good. And, let's be honest, another former Met, got to give him his flowers. Harrison Bader had a really good series. I mean, the homer off Helsley last night, making it 5-5. A lot of our, it was a pit in a lot of Mets fans' stomachs after that happened. But even defensively, too, hell of a play throwing out Lindor at second base. I did not think he had a chance. Lindor slid a little bit early, but he knew it right away. Great tag by Turner. And also great stop on the ball with Beatty's double, not letting that get by him as well. So just want to give Harrison Bader his flowers. Great series from him, but overall, great series for the Mets. I mean, you are now 4 games back in the National League East.
Oh, my gosh. Who would have said that just a week ago? We're 7 games out there. Look, maybe, just maybe it's time to reverse 2007. Just maybe it is our turn as Mets fans. You have the young stud pitching coming up, and I can't believe we have these guys for 6 more years. The fact, Dan, that the Phillies knew it was a playoff series. You watch their postgame, the podcasters, all these guys I'm checking in on, absolutely melting the hell down during the game. Yesterday's game, game 1, they know the significance of this. And one more thing that I want to point out to you Mets fans. If the Mets finish tied with the Phillies in the division, the Mets now officially have the tiebreaker for the rest of the season. They could get swept by the Phillies in Philly. It would not matter. So the Mets have that little buffer right there. It is 4 games, but think about it. You typically have to be 5 games because you have to overtake them by a game. But now we have that right there. And Dan, what do you make of the fact that the Mets held the Phillies to 5 runs? You're making guys like Castellanos, Schwarber, Turner, they looked ridiculous up there. And typically when we play the Phillies, they play us hard. And another thing, and I'm one of those guys that loves to get on Vientos, and I was rightfully so. Everyone's like, Ray, you're going to apologize? The guy waited till August to show up, and I'm always going to root for the guy. There's nothing to apologize for. Vientos had a terrible first 4 months of the season, but I'm here for it. I want him to be great. I don't want to have that. And there is a difference. How about Alec Bohm at third base, Dan?
He's a butcher.
Ball's going right over him. They're blaming the bad hop. The initial RBI single, that rocket to left field, he's right here, and it goes in between him and his glove. Talk about bad defensive third base, and he cost them last year in the playoffs. But here's the difference. And this is why a lot of Mets fans say, Ray, Dan, Ernest, Wexler, you guys are all prospect huggers. No, because the new day and age of baseball, you have to be able to develop. And when I watch a guy like Brett Beatty in the field compared to what they're throwing out there, that is Mets development. You go down and you look at ESPN right now, has the New York Mets as the #1 farm system in all of baseball, and Jonah Tung is the #1 pitching prospect in all of baseball. The more these guys work out, the better, because it allows you to spend in other places. The Phillies have 0 farm system. They traded their entire farm away for the closer. We just lit the hell barrel up yesterday for 4 straight hits and a walk-off. The Mets have Jet Williams, and who I believe, I'm dead serious when I say this, and I'm not trying to be a homer, Dan, but Carson Bench is going to be a mega star in this league. There is no doubt in my mind. First round draft pick, tearing it up early, the eye discipline, the power has now come around. When you look at guys like him, Ryan Clifford, Jet Williams, now you have Mitch Voigt, the Mets first round pick from this past year in St. Lucie, making Jose Iglesias Gold Glove type plays at second base. If you guys haven't looked at it already, go check out X and go look at what he did. Some unbelievable defensive plays this recently. And then you have other guys lighting it up all over the place, which is not only going to one look. We all cried for it. Dan, I think you agree with me. You wanted Garrett Crochet in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I'm not willing to trade our pitching prospects. And Dan, everyone could rave prospects or suspects. Imagine Nolan McLean right now was on Boston doing what he's doing. There's certain pitchers and prospects that general managers need to identify and say they are untouchable. And we've already know who they are. Tung, Sproat, McLean, Williams, Carson Bench. Those 5 guys, untouchable. And I think they're all going to be here very shortly. May not see them all this year, but you're going to see at least 3 of them, because I'm almost for sure Brandon Sproat's coming up, Dan.
Yeah, a couple points, right? Like holding the Phillies to 5 runs, as you said. I mean, that is just a testament to the Mets right now. You know, both sides of the ball playing very good. Phillies, yeah, they're butchers, man. I mean, we saw a couple plays, especially Bohm. Like, I don't know, you know, he's had a lot of fielding problems. They were talking about his lateral movement today on the live. Like, it's something clearly isn't right there with him, but you know, he's dating Aaron Dolan. He'll be fine. But at the end of the day, like, it is frustrating to see for a Phillies fan, I'm sure, when you're melting down like a cheesesteak against the Mets. Nobody likes to see that over there in Philly. But here in New York, we're loving it. And again, you're building on these games. The Phillies are now going to play the Braves coming up. I mean, you got to hopefully they take care of them. We take care of the Marlins. And hopefully the Reds, you know, end up continuing to lose. And the Mets can solidify this magic number as it gets down to the wire here. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. This team has really turned a corner. It's just positive all around. I mean, you swept the Phillies. You think we're going to
10 straight at home?
10 straight at home against the Phillies at Citi Field.
Wow.
So it continues. It really does. And this team, it's just good stuff. I mean, it's really good to see. And again, we have to give our credit too where credit's due. I mean, the coaching staff putting guys in the position to be called up, you know, from the bottom up. Andy Green with the development with the Mets, right through AAA, up there to even the Jeremy Hefners of the world, right? As much as we like to get on these guys when players struggle, you know, when they do well, I think we're always singing their praises. Same thing with Eric Chavez too. You don't hear many stuff like that. He was on his Instagram story last night, for anyone who saw, saying, hey, you know, no one's talking bad to me anymore. So it is funny how that works. But yeah, I mean, one more thing on Sproat too. I mean, I know you think he's untouchable in the Garrett Crochet stuff. I mean, I would have done that deal. We all know what the package would have been. It's Joe DeMayo saying it. If you don't trust our word here on Metcast, trust the great Joe DeMayo and what he says with the prospects, where he says Garrett Crochet, Luis Angel Acuna, Jet Williams. That would have been the conversation starter to get that trade moving for the Mets. Whether it would have gotten it done or not, that still remains to be seen, because Boston obviously has a really good farm system. But again, I would have done that trade in a heartbeat. And the reason I say that is because a guy like Brandon Sproat, it's tough. I think he'll be up here. I'm kind of going to say what I said about Tong a couple nights ago, and I could be wrong on this. I don't bat 1,000, as we all know, but you know, it's going to be tough to get him up here. And look at the way Tong, 2 starts in AAA, and the Mets said, all right, let's go. We've seen enough. I mean, Sproat's been down in AAA for a while. You think the Mets would have seen something by now, but he's just struggled so much up and down, and hopefully he's on the upturn now. But yeah, it's been tough sledding for Brandon Sproat, but having him in this rotation, oh man, it's going to be special.
There's special and there's special. And I think Jonah Tong, and look, we haven't seen him pitch at the major league level, so we don't know. But I'm hearing some crazy comparisons. Not only do they compare him to Tim Lincecum because of the delivery? Supposedly he's got better stuff, which could be scary. Tim Lincecum is I believe he won 2 Cy Youngs back to back.
Yep.
I remember correctly. Something like that.
Yes, he did.
But let's get to some of your guys' comments. Guys, if you're here, do me the favor. Like, subscribe, consider becoming a member. There's a ton of comments. We'll get to a few of them, including some of our members that are here. We'll start it off with Alan. The future is now. His name is Nolan McLean. Absolutely. Michael, appreciate you chiming in. Sorry, guys, my phone was going off. Michael says, Ray, it's time to call up Sproat 2, ? I'll tell you this. And this is where I stand, Dan. If the Mets weren't planning on calling up Brandon Sproat, there would be no reason for them to move him to the pen. Why would you do it? Right? What would be the purpose? Let him sit down there, be a starter, and finish off the season as a starter. There's no reason to send him to the bullpen and have somebody open as a starter for him. It doesn't make any sense. Messing around with a guy just to say, all right, see you next year, it wouldn't make any sense to me.
Sure.
Ines says, let's go Mets. Simply awesome. Robert, McLean is a Met. Absolutely. And the composure, something that we spoke about, Dan, not rattled. You have 2 guys in scoring position, nobody out, and no one scores for the Phillies. He's got that dog in him. Very exciting to see.
Let's be honest. You could have sent him back out for the 9th. I know he was at 90, 95 pitches, but could have given him a batter at least. But again, 6-0 game. You're not going to complain too much. But that's how good Nolan McLean's been.
And score update right now, the Dodgers are beating Cincinnati 2-1. The Mets currently have a 4-game lead in the wild card. We always have to monitor that. But here's what's happening. Check it out, folks. The Mets are now only 2.5 games back of San Diego for that second wild card spot and 4.5 behind Chicago. If you could somehow flip that, you could be looking at a potential home playoff games, but that is for down the road.
Yep.
Omar, apparently Lightning McQueen is an ace and the Phillies are pretenders. Let's hope so. The Phillies were due to have a bad stretch. Let's just be real. Nolan McLean, 95 pitches, 71 for strikeout. First pitcher in Mets history to win each of his first 3 career games.
Unbelievable.
Wow. And I know a lot of Met fans, they were in my comments earlier today, Ray, why didn't we bring him up earlier in the year? One thing I always say, you trust David Stearns with prospects. He knows them. He knows them like the back of his hand. And he won't send people up here that he does not think are ready for the moment. He's always been like that. He's going to always be like that. And I trust him with that. Candy says, there's a new star in the sky over Queens. And I will say this, Dan, I will be there Friday. If his jersey is for sale, I am for show grabbing that thing.
They get a custom one too at this point.
I'm not spending $200 on a custom, but I will get it if it's on the shelf.
Yes.
Andre says, McLean is a very special talent. He just made Phillies look like a double-A team. Forget Reds. Mets can win the division. Vientos is also back to being a star. And I love that comment from Andre because, when he says back to being a star, that's what it is. I also have something else to follow it up. Lowest ERAs in the first 3 games career. Mets history, minimum 18 innings pitch. Grover Powell. Terry Leach. Then there's Nolan McLean with a .89. Tom Seaver's first 3 games, 1.19. Jason Jacome, I don't know who that was, 1.71. But to think that he's got an ERA that is 20 points lower than Tom Seaver's first 3. Now, I know it's only 3 starts, but, you see the stuff is there. I keep comparing him to Greg Maddux. I'm not saying he's Greg Maddux, but his stuff moves the way Greg Maddux. I'll never forget an interview he did. Maddux always said, when there's a lefty and righty, no matter what it is, I control the inner part of the plate. If there's a lefty up there, I throw the 2-seamer in at his knees that breaks back over the plate. And if there's a righty, I throw the cutter. He does the exact same thing.
Yeah. If you don't mind, right, too, I was looking before because everyone obviously comparing him to Matt Harvey with the strikeouts. He had 18 through his first 2 outings, and McLean had 15. He got rocked in his third outing, in 2012, when it was against the Cardinals, if I remember correctly. And I think he let up a couple runs, might have been even 5 earned runs. Someone could double check me on that, but he definitely saw an uptick in his ERA. So I was thinking today, like, oh, maybe it's possible. Just the thought crossed my mind that, hey, maybe McLean gets, roughed up here and there, maybe not for 5 runs, but for 3 or something, or 2, and Harper runs into one, or Schwarber. I mean, who knows? But clearly that wasn't the case tonight. So he's in rare air for sure.
I'm going to do a comparison graphic when we're done with this. I'll look up the numbers. I'll do the comparisons because everybody always loves that. Buzz, one of our subscribers over there. Appreciate you, Buzz, as always. Ray, my man, what a night. End series. Let's effing go Mets. I will say this. It all means nothing if we don't take care of business against the crappy Marlins. Yes, they're 37-30 over their last 67. I don't care. If you are a playoff team going for the division, you have the electricity of this crowd behind you. There's zero excuses. I'm not saying it's got to be a sweep, but you have to win this series, Dan.
Yeah, and I looked at it from bottom to top. It was the San Diego Padres, but he did let up the 5 earned, 5 innings for Harvey. And yeah, Ray, I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough to be good in the big leagues, but it's also tough to be really good and good for a long time. And it's 3 starts. We can't overreact, but
I'm overreacting.
And one more thing too. I know I'm rambling tonight, but Sal Licata opened his show today. He was out at the Salt Shack in Babylon with Jerry Recco. Great show. Sal opened and said, the as good as the Mets are, they win the first 2 games. There's still the flaws that are coming to the surface, and Mets fans are ignoring them. Sal, my only pushback to you tonight would be, what were the flaws that came up for the Mets today? I mean, Brett Baty couldn't field the ball, and maybe Lindor was a little too aggressive, but they won 6-0, and you had 8 innings from your starting pitcher. And there's not really many bad things to say tonight, if any at all.
It was as close to flawless as you could get. You have Brooks Raley, who comes in, gets a clean inning. I mean, you're talking about a team in Philly who was destroying the league for how long? They just got hit by a race car in the terms Lightning McQueen and this series. Let's be real. The big boys put their pants on today. We separated ourselves from the boys. The men separated themselves from the boys. Now, whether or not that sticks will remain to be seen. But the facts are the facts. The Mets destroyed the Phillies. The Phillies' best chance was yesterday when they were getting their doors blown off. They had to have an epic comeback. But the Mets, something we are finally seeing this season, Dan, that we haven't seen in forever. The grittiness. Something Frank the Tank talked about yesterday after going off on Helsley. Said, finally, this team shows a backbone. Shows they mean business. And Soto's still not hot. We've seen Soto be hot on one streak this entire season. Let's be real. But ESPN or Bleacher still had their rankings. He's the 3rd best left-hitting hitter in the game. That's where they have him. And I expect big things. The pressure's no longer on Soto. Lindor has showed up. Nimmo has showed up. Vientos has showed up. Pete's been going 3 for 4, 4 for 5. He's kind of come out of that slump a little, Dan. I know he was in that thing where he was fishing. He took the big walk today. They tried to get him with that outside slider that he was biting on, but he took it. Everybody seems to be in a groove, and I believe there's a new cog that makes this team go, and it is Brett Baty at the bottom of that lineup. He allows this lineup to get turned over. Dan, what have we talked about for literally 2 months now? The issue with this lineup, why I pushed for Cedric Mullins and an upgrade at center field so badly, was simple. The Mets had 3 automatic outs at the bottom of this lineup, and Lindor constantly came up with nobody on base, and he's supposed to be an RBI machine. But now you look, Hayden Sanger's actually been hitting a little bit in the 9-hole. But you see Brett Baty, and he's been doing it against righties and lefties. He changes that lineup at the bottom of the lineup because he gets on base, it clears the 9-hitter. If he gets on base and hits a double, Sanger gets out, or whoever's 9 gets out, Lindor is coming up with guys on, and it gives him the opportunity to drive in runs as he had the 1 RBI today, but it's putting additional pressure on pitchers. Right now, as it stands, when you run this lineup out there, and hopefully a quick update for you guys. Alvarez got hit in the hand. Of course, he gets hit in the hand there while in AAA today. He gets drilled, but it's not in the hand that was injured. If he's okay and comes back and can be the player that he was before he left, there's no more that for opposing pitchers. That exhale leaves because of what they're doing. And I feel bad for guys like Ronnie Mauricio who are riding the pine, but this is no longer experimental time, Dan. It is put up or shut up. And the Mets have been putting up. I can't even run the graphic because we have put up so much that I'm sorry, Ronnie. I think they should send them down. If you're not going to play him, don't let him run on the bench for 2 weeks and at least get him at bat. So that way, if we, God forbid, we do have an injury, he's able to come in and contribute. But Beatty's playing too well and Vientos is playing too well. There's simply no, and McNeil, let's be real, the hottest clutch hitter on the team. He didn't have a hit today, but over this last series, he dominated. Where are you playing Ronnie? There's simply no spots. No, that's what I have to say about that. You get your comments in really quick, Dan, and we'll move on to a couple more of these comments, guys.
A couple quick points. Like Vientos, he's the cherry on top. I mean, I tweeted out something today. I mean, when he's that final piece of the puzzle for the Mets, finally getting him going, it's just makes this team a lot different. Alvarez, obviously, that's tough. But even if he doesn't come back or if he's not 100%, it's not the end of the world. Look at Luis Torrens. I mean, this guy put up 5 RBIs, 7 total bases the other night like it was nothing. I mean, Hayden Sanger playing small ball, you love to see that in the absence of Alvarez as well. And then the lefty bats, right, that you talked about, Beatty, Nimmo, Soto. I mean, these guys are really helping this team out. I was a lefty batter, right? Like I look for these things in their swing and all of the mechanics are on point for all 3 of those guys. And also I see Daniel Caps in the comments. Great point. How about Nimmo and Soto, the 2 lefty bats in the field, holding the Phillies scoreless at the end of that game with 2 great throws to the plate. So you love to see that, man. You really, really do.
Get to a couple more comments, guys. We only have a few more minutes left. We try to keep this under 30 minutes, and we're just so freaking jacked for this team. Omar, appreciate you checking in. Miraculously, the division is still in play. I wish they could only play the Phillies.
We got 4 more games.
So, you got to put the caveat at home. Bruce says, this edition of the Mets is the real deal. Alexis, this feels like a playoff baseball, boys. We are looking really good right now. Let's pray this continues. Absolutely. Bill chimes in over on Facebook. I know Facebook went down. It's a Facebook issue, not a StreamYard issue. Bill says, Lightning McQueen Goomba said this 100 times. Keep McNeil in center field. Tried saying it. I was a little surprised, Dan. Up 6. You have Mullins on the bench. Why isn't he in for Soto or Brandon Nimmo at that point?
Mullins, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. You got to keep that bat in the lineup if you can. But I hear what you're saying. Tyrone Taylor's that defensive guy. It's not a different side of the plate, but if you do want to get a defensive guy in there, it would be Taylor over Mullins.
I think they did. They did at the end of the game.
Yeah, but in other situations, definitely something to think about. But Mullins, he's another candidate for sure.
Man, Mullins, his stock has plummeted.
Yeah.
Even though he's been okay, but it's just the offense is just too good with this. Alvin says, Mark, the Philly killer Vientos looks like he's on pace to hit 20 bombs. Where is he right now?
He's at 13 or 14? 13 he might have had tonight.
He should be hitting 30. Let's be real with what he did last year. Robert chimes in, Mets 5 of 8 with runners in scoring position tonight. Like seeing it. It's the name of the game. The Mets were dead last or right next to there for 2 months with runners in scoring position. I don't know what it is, but you know what's turned around? Plain and simple. Juan Soto has finally hit with guys and runners in scoring position. Had a hit yesterday. His 1 hit today came with a guy on third base.
Yeah, getting Soto going is just It's really good to see. He's finally hitting in the clutch, and he's shutting up a lot of people as he has all year. This guy's unbelievable. So his 22nd base of the year, 32 home runs, still on pace for 40. He is a hell of a player, and I'm happy he's a New York Met.
The final question we'll get to tonight comes from Mark. What does September expanded rosters look like? By the way, message you, Lightning McQueen graphic. Yes, I seen it, Mark, while we're live. I'll take a peek, and I'll be sure to send it out for everybody. Mark's one of the good guys. Messages me over on Facebook, I believe it is. But I actually chatted up with a lot of you Mets fans on Facebook, especially if you're a subscriber on Facebook, which, believe it or not, we have a ton of them. We're open books, love talking ball all the time. September call-ups, Dan. I think it's going to be Acuna, and I think it's going to be Sproat.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth, unless it's Dylan Ross. But I think we're holding out hope, us and Ernest Dove on that one. But yeah, Sproat and Acuna seems like the right pairing. And you get the speed, the speed of Acuna. That really plays in the playoffs.
100%. All right, guys, that's all we got for you. Make sure you like, subscribe, consider becoming a member. Another post-game show in the books as the Mets sweep the Phillies. Nolan McLean. Nolan, the Lightning man, McLean. I think we got to give him some type of ancient civilization goddess, as we did with Thor, with Syndergaard. Who's the goddess of lightning? I don't know. Maybe you guys know down in the chats. I'll take a peek afterwards. But if you guys want to become a member, I'll be sure to link it in the comments after this show is over. Right after, I'll pin it down below to be guaranteed to get your comments read. Let's go, Mets. Peace.